Welcome to Banahene tutorial collections, and in this special video I am going to show you how to create a 3D puzzle with its content animated, and you can use this for your presentation for revealing some content, maybe a process or some steps, or figuring out options that you want to pinpoint out. And this particular 3D puzzle will give you a very good looking and stunning presentation, and this is going to wow your audience in the presentation room. Now I have this slideshow which shows you how to create a sphere and also a perfect circle, and I have the link in the description below. Check out that particular video. And also I created this 3D cone in PowerPoint. I used two approaches, so this is the first approach and this is the second approach. And if you want to learn how to create a cone in PowerPoint, you can get into the description of this video and learn how to do it. Now without any further ado, let's move into this video and let me show you how to create a 3D puzzle with its content animated. Now I'm going to click below this slide and press the enter key so that I have this blank layout. And as usual, if this layout is not blank, you can right click on the slide and then choose layout and choose blank from this option. Now that we have this particular effect done, let's move to the home tab, and in the drawing group we have shapes, and I'm going to select the oval shape. And for me to draw a perfect circle, I'll hold down the control key and the shift key and draw this particular circle. Now when you draw this particular circle, move back to the shape format. In the shape styles group we have shape outline, and I'm going to choose no outline. Perfect. Now back to the shape format, we have this last group, that is the size group, and we have the width and height of this circle as 5.53. You can increase the size based on your preference. I want to increase this to 6.5 and also as usual 6.5. Now that I have this done, I'm going to move this shape here, hold down the control key and the letter D whilst this shape is selected, and I'm going to change the color of this second shape by moving to the shape format, shape fill, and I'm going to choose this particular color. Now I'm going to hold this knot, hold down the control key and the shift key, and then decrease the size of this particular shape. As usual, you can also go back to this size group and use these numbers to change the height and the width of this particular circle. So I can move back to this section. Perfect. Now that we have this done, I'm going to select all these shapes and then move back to the shape format. In the arrange group, I'm going to click on the align option and then choose align center. Move back to the align option once again and choose align middle. Now we have this shape aligned perfectly in this slide area. Let's select these shapes once again, move back to the shape format, and when you click, we have the insert shapes group and we have merge shapes. When you click on the arrow, I'm going to choose fragment. Now this is going to create a hollow circle. As you can see, this is a hollow shape. This is not now a circle, rather a hollow circle or a hollow shape. This is not an actual circle because there is a hole in this particular shape. Now we want to divide this into 4 segments, and I'm going to use a shape known as the rectangle shape. So let's move back to the home tab. In the drawing group we have shapes. You click and choose rectangle, and I'm going to draw a vertical line to cross this particular shape. Now I want to make a bit of adjustment here. Whilst this rectangle is selected, we move back to the shape format. In the size group, I'm going to decrease this size to 0.01 and then hit the enter key. Now I have changed the width of this particular shape. Let's hold Ctrl plus D on the keyboard whilst this shape is selected. Now we have a duplicate of this rectangle shape. I'm going to use the Alt key and the right arrow key to change the rotation of this particular shape. Perfect. Now let's click and drag to select all these shapes. Move back to the shape format. In the arrange group, choose align and then choose center, align and choose middle. And while these shapes are selected, we move back to the insert shapes, merge shapes, and we are going to choose fragment. Now I'm going to select this area and delete this area and delete. Select this, delete, 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 and delete. So you can see that we have different segments of this particular hollow circle. Let me undo. So in this case, when I move this, you can see that this is right inserted into the middle of this particular shape. Now we are going to create the puzzle using this 4 segments that has been created. I'm going to select this shape whilst this is already a perfect circle. I don't need to move back to draw this particular circle. So I'll hold Ctrl+D and I'm going to decrease the size of this circle. So I'll move back to the shape format. In the size group, let's reduce the size of the height and also the width. So I'm going to make the height and the width of this circle as 0.5. Then I'm going to place this on top of this particular shape. You make sure that almost 75% of this shape is on top of this particular shape. Then the remaining 25% is on this shape. So you can use your arrow key to adjust. So as you can see, let me zoom in so you can have a better view. So you can see I have this perfectly here, and as you are moving, you can see that there's a red line drawn on top of this particular shape. Then you release the mouse, and I'm going to hold Ctrl+D to have a duplicate and also move this to this section. Then you hold Ctrl+D once again. So you are going to repeat the process for all these shapes. Now this is perfect. Now what we are going to do is to make sure that these 4 segments interlock with these circles that we've placed on top of them. So I'm going to select this particular shape, hold down the Control key and select this one, move back to the shape format, then choose union. I'm going to repeat the process. Select this and select this, merge shapes, union. Select this, merge shapes and choose union. Select this, Ctrl+ this, merge shapes and choose union. Now when you look at this particular image that we have here, you can see that some of these shapes have some rounded and also a straight line, as you can see, as an outline, but these ones you can't see them. But when you click, you can see that these are the shapes that we have here, and this is not the effect that we want. So we proceed to the next level. I'm going to hold Ctrl+Z to undo. So this time around, I'm going to select this shape and then Ctrl+D to make a duplicate and place it somewhere. Select this and then select this particular shape. Move back to the shape format. Click on this merge shapes and then we are going to choose fragment. Now what we are going to do now is to select this and hit the delete key on the keyboard and select this particular shape and delete. Now you can see that there's a hole here which can have this shape fit into it. Perfect. So we are going to repeat the process. We select this, Ctrl+D, make a duplicate, place it somewhere, select this and this, move back to the shape format, merge shapes and choose fragment. And I'm going to select this, delete, select this and also delete. I'm going to select this one as well, Ctrl+D, select this and this one, move back to the merge shapes and choose fragment. And I'm going to select this one, delete, and delete. Now the last one, before I proceed to the last one, let me click on this Ctrl plus D, and I'm going to arrange these shapes. So I'm going to select this and then hold this particular shape, merge shapes, and choose fragment. So I'm going to select this shape and press the delete key, select this one and delete. Now I can place this particular shape here to fit into this hole that has been created. Perfect. Now let me click and drag over all these shapes, and I'm going to change the individual colors of this particular segment. So I'll select this, move back to the shape format, and then click and choose black. Select this, choose this color, select this, let me go with this color. So these are individual puzzle that has been created perfectly. Now the next thing that we want to do to polish this particular design is to move this particular shape into the middle, but before then you hold Ctrl plus D to make a duplicate, and I'm going to reduce the size. So now I'm going to move this into the middle. The next thing I'm going to do is to move this smaller circle that we have here to the middle of this particular circle, and also with this particular segment. So we make a duplicate and then also place this between this segment and this circle, and we are going to repeat the process for all this segment and the circle. So now that I have this done, I'm going to drag to select only this circle with this smaller circles, and then move back to shape format. In the merge shapes, I'm going to choose union. So we have this union shape here. Now I'm going to make a duplicate of this and place it here. So I'm going to select this shape and then hold down the Ctrl key and select this, merge shapes, and choose fragment. So I'm going to select this one and press the delete key, select this and delete key. So you can see that we have this puzzle here, very beautiful. We are going to repeat the process for all these shapes. Ctrl plus D. So I'm going to select this one, Ctrl and hold this, move back to shape format, merge shapes, and choose fragment, and then I'm going to delete this and delete. So now I can change the color for this already created puzzle. Very beautiful, as you can see. So you have to take your time and then have this effect done. So we are going to move this to the middle and then continue the process. You select, hold down, choose shape format, and then we are going to have merge shapes and choose fragment. I'm going to delete this and this. I can change the color to my preference. Very beautiful. And then the last option, so I'm going to select one of the shapes and hold Ctrl plus A, and then move this shape to the middle. Nice one. So now we are done with our puzzle, and as you can see, very beautiful. So how can we have a 3D effect given to these shapes? Let me use the undo option to bring them together. I'm going to select all shapes, right click and go to format object, and then we are going to use the effect options under the shape options, and I'll move back to 3D format, go to the top bevel, and I'm going to choose this particular option that says soft round. So you see the aesthetic or the artistic effect given to this particular shapes. Let me close this pane, and I'm going to use the text box and type something. This is for tutorial purposes. So I have typed week 1. I'm going to increase the size to 28, or let's make it 32. I'm going to adjust this text box. Click on the bold option to bold it, and I'm going to make the font color white, and then place it on top of this particular shape. Perfect. Now I can hold Ctrl+D, place this particular here, and change this to 2. For this one, I'm going to change the font color to black to make a contrast here, and I'm going to change this to 3. Change the font color to white, and this is going to be 4. So what we are going to do is to group this text box with the individual segment. So I'll select the text box, hold the Control key and select this, and now I'm going to use Ctrl+J on the keyboard. So I have this as one particular shape. I'm going to repeat the process. So the next thing is to have the individual description for all these individual segments. So I'll move back to the shapes and choose text box, click, and I'm going to hold Ctrl+B for the title of the description, and I'm going to hit the enter key. Now I'm going to undo the bold option and then type a random text in this particular text box. So I have this text box here. So that I can reduce the number of text that we have here. Perfect. Now I'm going to align this here. Click and use the delete key to adjust the text box. So let's assume that this is the description for this particular week 1 segment. I'm going to select this, hold the Control key, the Shift key, and drag this to this particular side. For the next description, select this, Control key, and select this, and then use Control Shift and drag it down to make a duplicate. Perfect. So we have this 3D puzzle in the middle of the slide area, and we have this individual description for the individual segment. So the next thing we are going to do is to animate the segment and also its description. So I'm going to select this, move to the animations tab, and then open the animation pane. Now the animation I'm going to apply for this is the fade animation. Now when this is done, I want this particular text box to wipe, and then this is going to wipe from left. So when this fades in, this particular text is going to wipe from left, and then this is going to happen after previous. So I'll click on this arrow and choose after previous. You can also move to the timing group and choose this and choose after previous. So when I move to the slide area and click, this face and this wipe. Then we are going to repeat for the week 2. Select this, move back to this animations pane, and I'm going to choose fade, and then select its text box and then choose wipe, and this is going to happen after previous. Then we move to this particular shape, choose fade, select its text box and choose wipe, and that is going to happen after previous. And then we move to the last shape. This is going to fade, select the text box, and this is going to wipe, and that is also going to happen after previous. Now if I hold the Shift key and the F5, that is, I want to move straight forward to this particular slide, because when I move to the slide pane, I have different slide here. You are going to have this slide, which is the whiteboard pane, open. Now when I click, I have this particular shape, and this is its description. So as a presenter or a teacher, if I'm having a presentation in the presentation room and I'm showcasing some information to my audience, I'm going to have this, take my time to explain, then I click. This moves to the next option, and the audience will be very astonished and then willing to see what is coming next, because we have this particular graphical element and also some text that is explaining this particular option. They will be sitting happily, eyes open, and waiting for what is going to happen next. So when I click, I have this and I have its explanation. Click and I have this and I have its explanation. Now I'm going to change the look of this text, because this starts from left, and I'm going to change this. This is also going to move from left, then this also from left and left. Now let's move back, select this, go to the effect options, and this is from left. Select this, the effect option, I'm going to choose from left. Select this. Now let's go back to the slideshow. When I click, now this is week 1, and we have this title and this is the description. So let's assume that I'm the presenter and I'm explaining this to my audience. So this is for week 1. Now let's quickly jump to week 2. So this is week 2, and this is what we had during the purchasing and then also sales of products in week 2. Then we move to week 3. Click. Now this is week 3. These are all the commodities that were exported and also imported during our festive season. And I'm moving to the last option. Click. Then we have this particular text. Now I want to input some icon within this particular shape or this hollow shape, and that can be the logo of your company or whatever. So I'm going to move to the insert tab, images group. I'm going to select pictures and then choose this device, and I'm going to search a picture and input that into my slide area. So select and click on insert. Now I'm going to reduce the size by holding Control Shift and then use this knot. So you can see that I'm reducing the size. So I can use this option as well to reduce the size so that we can have this in the middle of this particular shape. So when I move to slideshow, I have this image available. When I click, 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 and click, and we have this particular image. You can also apply some animation for this to appear after the display of these options. So I can select this and then move to animations, and I'm going to choose, no, I'm going to change this and choose zoom. Perfect. And this is going to happen after previous. And I'm going to increase the duration. Now when I move to the slideshow once again, click, have my explanation, click, 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 and now you can see this image has quickly zoomed in perfectly in this particular hollow shape. Hope we've enjoyed this particular video, and I believe we are going to put this into practice and learn how to create this stunning and also elegant presentation. And as I said, you can use it to describe a process or some steps in any environment that you find yourself in. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.